Home Assistant 2026.6 is not a flash release. And honestly, good, because this one fixes the annoying stuff. Dashboards that made you think like a car developer. Automations you built 6 months ago and no longer understand. Tile cards that almost did what you wanted. YAML error caused by one missing colon, because apparently punctuation controls my emotional stability. Apparently. This release is not about one giant feature, it's about making Home Assistant less painful to build and also maintain. And that really matters, because real smart homes don't fail only because of big problems. They fail because of friction. The extra click, the unclear automation, the helper you forgot existed, the dashboard card you added, hated, deleted, added again, and then pretended it was fine because dinner was ready. Quick warning, this is still beta, so I am sticking to the official release notes. If I cannot demo something properly, it's a mention, not a fake chapter. So today I'm focusing on 5 changes I can actually show you and that I think most Home Assistant users will appreciate and like. We'll be starting in a couple of seconds. The first big improvement is the new dashboard card adding flow, and this is probably the most useful change for the widest group of people. Until now, adding a card often started with picking card type first. Tile, entities, button, gauge, glance, picture, markdown, and then all the custom card options you use for those. This is powerful, but it's also backwards. Most of the time you don't start with I need this exact card architecture. You start with I want this lamp on my dashboard, or I want this temperature sensor, or I want controls for this speaker. Home Assistant dashboards used to ask you to think like a car developer instead of human being. In 2026.6, the Add Card dialog starts with a new by entity flow. You get a tree of floors, areas, devices, entities, and then you pick a thing you care about, and Home Assistant shows live previews of the cards that make sense for that type of the entity. For lights, you can get tile options with useful light controls. For sensors, you can get sensor-friendly options. For media players, you get media-related controls. The important part is that you see the result before adding it to the dashboard. That removes the classic loop and add card. Check card, hate card, delete card, repeat until your dashboard becomes a museum of bad decisions and choices. This is not just a prettier UI, it solves decision friction. You start with the entity you want to add, and Home Assistant helps you choose how to display it. The second major area is the automation editor, and this is very much a builder feature. It's not the kind of thing that makes a dramatic screenshot, but it saves you from breaking your own setup. In 2026.6, target pills can show how many entities they actually affect when you target a floor, area, device or a label. That matters because a living room might not mean one lamp. It might mean 5 lights, 2 switches, a media player, a helper, and one weird entity you passed self-added at around 1:17 am in the morning, while pretending that was just a quick fix. If you use labels, floors and areas heavily, this is even more important, because those targets can silently grow over time. You add a new device to an area, and suddenly it may be included in automations you forgot they existed. The count also respects filters like domains, device classes, so you get a clearer idea of what your automation is actually touching before you run it. The second automation improvement is notes. This one here. Triggers, conditions, actions, options, and script fields can now have a dedicated notes field. And believe me, this is a huge, because an alias tells you what step does, but a note can explain why it exists. Why is there a delay here? Why does this condition block the pump? Why does this more automation avoid one zone after rain? Future you needs that context because past you was probably clever, tired, or both. This is not flashy, it's a maintenance gold. Next are tile card improvements, and this is the visual part of the release. Tile cards are already one of the cleanest ways to build your practical dashboards, and in 2026 they get more useful for weather and media. Weather tiles can now show forecast information directly on tile. Depending on what your weather provider supports, that means you can show things like upcoming highs and lows, hourly temperature curves, rain or snow expectations, or chance of precipitation. That is useful because a good dashboard should answer the next question, not just the current one. Current weather is nice, but for automation, garden works, windows, irrigation, solar expectations, or robot mowing, what matters is what is coming next. If a tile can show that directly, you do not need to open more info or build a separate forecast section for every simple dashboard. Media player tiles also get better. There are more playback controls like shuffle, repeat, volume up, down, and mute, plus more buttons on volume controls. Source and soundboard dropdowns can also be filtered, which is great if your media exposes a giant list of inputs and you only use 3 of them. The point is simple. Tile cards are becoming better, everyday dashboard building blocks. Not more complicated, but just more useful. Now the feature that sounds boring but will probably save someone's evening. YAML linting inside the UI editors. If you build anything serious in Home Assistant, eventually YAML gets involved. Templates, automations, scripts, dashboard snippets, packages, blueprints. Sooner or later you write YAML. And sooner or later, YAML reminds you that one space can ruin your day. In 2026.6, YAML code editors throughout the UI now show inline linting. That means fewer failed saves, fewer confusing errors, and less scrolling around trying to find which tiny invisible thing broke your configuration. This is not going to make YAML beautiful. YAML is still YAML, a format that looks clean right until it emotionally attacks you. But inline linting makes the mistakes visible earlier, and that is exactly the kind of small improvement that matters in real Home Assistant builds. The fifth feature is the practical one: energy dashboard improvements. The energy dashboard can now show a home battery state of charge sensor, of course, if your setup exposes one. And you can also give custom names to sources like grid, solar, battery, gas, and water. For my recording setup, I do not have the battery sock path ready to demo here, so I will not pretend this is a full battery dashboard. But custom source names alone are useful if your energy setup is more complex than power comes from wall, bill comes from sadness. Once you have solar, whole home meters, balcony solar, technical water, or separate monitoring sources, generic labels get confusing fast. Clear names make the energy dashboard easier to read, especially when you are troubleshooting or explaining the setup. And this fits perfectly with bigger Bearded Tinker theme: Home Assistant as infrastructure monitoring, not just remote control, but solar, grid, battery, water, pumps, all of those are resources. The dashboard should make those resources understandable. The related quick links are also worth mentioning because they reduce hunting around the interface. When you are looking at an area, device, entity automation, or script, scene, or label, Home Assistant makes it easier to jump to the connected objects instead of digging through settings like you are on a scavenger hunt. Useful, but not the emotional core of release. Two cool features I'm not building chapters around are infrared and Z-Wave locks. Infrared is getting receiver event support, so support integrations can expose received infrared commands as Home Assistant events. ESP Home is listed as the first transmitter integration supporting this, and LG Infrared is mentioned as the first device integration using receive commands. That could be great for turning old remotes into triggers. And funny enough, I actually found Xiao Smart Infrared Mate in my pile of smart home boxes, so this may become a proper follow-up once I test it. But for this video, I am not building a fake demo around something I haven't properly validated yet. When we are only talking about validation, Z-Wave Smart Log Credentials Management is also great if you use Z-Wave Logs, because Home Assistant can manage users and credentials locally from the log device page. But I only have Z-Wave door and window sensors right now, so again, mention not a chapter. Before updating, check of course also the backward incompatible changes, especially if you use Bluetooth proxies, or any integration from the nodes that matters to your setup. And remember, this video is recorded on beta. Do not YOLO update your production system unless restoring backups is now a personal trait. My final take is that Home Assistant 2026.6 is not loud, but it is useful. Dashboards start from entities. Automations explain more. Tiles show more useful commands. YAML catches mistakes early, energy gets clearer, navigation gets faster, and this is Home Assistant sanding down rough edges. And for a real smart home, that matters more than one giant flashy feature. I really do hope that you did enjoy this video, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like button because it really helps a lot. Also, while you are already there, drop me a line and tell me what do you think is the best or flashiest feature in this release of Home Assistant. And as always, I want to say thanks to all those wonderful people that are supporting me and that have become YouTube channel members. Thank you for all of your support, but let's not forget each and every one of you who has watched, shared, liked or commented on my videos. Thank you. If you too want to support the channel, you can do so by clicking the join button down below and become a YouTube channel member for only €2 or $2 per month. Or you can go to my merchandise store and grab something there. Last but not least, you can always send me super thanks, and I will be super thankful for that. I will see you next time. Until then, bye bye and have fun.